okay, light levels are getting low here, and we're rewiring the boat, so there's not an awful lot of electricity once the daylight goes. We're on torches. So I've done my Reiki session. I learnt so much from doing it. Taken me a while, but one of the things because I'm a tarot reader, and this is the diary of a tarot reader, one of the things I use is the tarot extensively. So I use 2 decks. I use one called Ghosts and Spirits to represent the soldier, and one called Housewives Tarot to represent my mum. Just because it's sort of, it does seem relevant, those two. Okay, and the idea is that you choose a card from the court section to represent both the people, and then a card from the major arcana to represent the archetype that each one brought to the relationship, and then one of the mundane cards, the minor cards, to see what each of them brought in a practical, everyday sense. Okay, so in each case, I picked up the Ghosts and Spirits Tarot and shuffled, and I chose a card to represent the soldier. I know the writing's probably going to be backwards, but that's the King of Wands. He looks like he's in battle dress. And a card. Oh, come up, it's stuck. A card from a Housewives Tarot to represent Mum, which is the Queen of Pentacles. Very apt. She liked dancing, and that felt like a sort of dancing. Sort of. So there we go. That's who they were. Then I shuffled a card to find from the majors what he brought to the relationship. And again, I used the Ghosts and Spirits for him, and I shuffled and cut and got the Wheel of Fortune, card number 10. And you'll think I'm making this up. And from the Housewives Tarot, I shuffled and chose a card for what my mum brought to the situation. Hey, look! It's the Wheel of Fortune from the Housewives. That's interesting. They were both bringing opportunity and certainly that expansive hopefulness that can crash. It's the wheel. So I felt that was sort of quite interesting. Shuffled Ghosts and Spirits and asked for what the soldier brought mundanely to their relationship, and hey, it's the 9 of Pentacles. It's a very occult card, in fact, the 9 of Pentacles. Great deal of maturity on the physical plane, and also it's about taking control of your own life, which is ultimately what this guy did. This is where you're going to stop believing me, because I picked up the Housewives Tarot and shuffled that to choose one that Mum brought to the situation, to the relationship, and hey, that's the 9 of Pentacles. So, interesting. So their destinies, Wheel of Fortune, were linked in some way. Now, I'm not going to get into this at the moment, but there's possibly even a past life thing between those two. But for now, just to clear energies and help that breathing easy feeling, I asked what he needed. And from here, I got the 7 of Swords. And the 7 of Swords is when one is acting alone and not asking for assistance. It's interesting. And for Mum, what she needed, I got the 4 of Cups. She didn't want things to change. She likes things as they are. So I've accepted that. And I did, again, I'm not going to believe these, from a Gateway, just Oracle deck. This is called Making a Difference. So this is what I could do about the situation, making a difference for him. And for my mum, accepting what is. Yes, that's what it says, accepting what is. And I'm sorry it's backwards, but that's what it says. You have to get good at mirror reading. So I did the Reiki for the situation. I just did it to these cards here. And the energy built beautifully. And I felt guided with the soldier, that he came from a line of soldiers, it felt. And he was a little nervous to go to his ancestors, because I think he felt there'd be disapproval because he hadn't carried out his soldierly duties. So that's very much the image of the Seven of Swords in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. You can see a camp, tents in the distance with a fire burning and soldiers sort of on duty guarding those tents or whatever. You know, there's all kinds of things it could be. But, and I often find when I get that card that it's time for me to go and just sit with my ancestors for a while around a campfire and just feel the vibe. So he took a little bit of persuading. He was a little nervous and we went there, but people did stand up and start welcoming him. And actually they were wearing kilts. I shall have to check this out with Crystal Jane, because I'd always been told he was possibly a Welshman, but he could have Scottish ancestry or Irish ancestry. But anyway, the first chap that stood up to greet him was wearing a kilt. They were lovely. They were very warm, and he went off very happily. I asked for a card, and here I've got the Nine of Cups, which is a lovely card anyway. It's wish fulfilled. But it actually depicts on the ghosts and spirits. You see him who's taking a ride on the back of someone else across the sky, and that's kind of what, going home. That's what it felt like. And then for Mum, I just checked, because with her it was, I have to accept what is, and she's happy with what is and accepting what is. So I just chose one just to make sure she was okay, and I got the Ten of Pentacles, which is always about family and the home. And so I think there's something about the house that she's happy with. She's not worried by the things of the house, and she did absolutely love that house. So hey, that's me done. I don't think I can add anything to that at all, except I will probably discuss it with Crystal Jane. Interesting things, aren't they?